Good morning, this is Barbie Lee. This is Shake Talk. This is where we shake up your wake up. We currently are taking on the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. It's a fabulous book, and we've been doing that for the last, well, we're in week 11, right? So we've been doing that for that long. And the whole idea of Shake Talk is just to have your beautiful breakfast. So I use my Isogenics Isoline Chocolate Mint Shake, and actually sit down and have a conversation about something that can assure your quality of life. So when you're living a conscious life, right, and in the book they call it above the line, it's about assuring and improving your quality of life. So that's what we do here. And if you're curious about the actual quality of life assurance program, it's really quite simple. It's about really truly living until you die, right? Not that I read that expression or that quote once that said, don't live the same year 75 times and call it a life, because that's not a life, right? Anyhow, so we're talking about having enough. Oh, let me get back to the first part of it because it's on my Kindle. And I'll give you the, oops, there we go, having enough, right? So it says, sorry, wrong hand, because I got to be able to read that. Having enough of everything. I commit to experiencing that I have enough of everything, including time, money, love, energy, space, resources, etc. So this is what we're talking about. Oh, and we're in chapter 12. I said 11. I lied. I did. All right. So we're on, so we've been talking about like scarcity, right? And people feeling that there's not enough time, or there's not enough money, or there's not enough love, or there's not enough, right? And I do that, right? I'm like, I like to dream, and I like to have conversations about, what's going to happen in the future and what I want in the future. And I like to have good philosophical conversations and talk about things that are juicy and delicious in life, right? Those are the kind of things that I like to do. And I don't have enough of those. So there you go. I don't have enough of those conversations. I had a great one last night at a book study. But if I want to have those conversations, wait, I have a piece of hair there. Do you see that? If I'm going to have those conversations, I got to have those conversations, right? I have to create the experience to have those conversations. So it says, so in the book, The Big Leap, which I highly recommend, Gay Hendricks talks about the differences between the linear, which is constant and Newtonian time, and the elastic Einstein time. So it goes like this. When you're driving to work and you're late, you're in linear time, right? You're focused on, I don't have enough time, I'm going to be late. But if you're like playing an instrument or singing or dancing or doing something that you absolutely love, you're in Newtonian time, and it just expands, and you're like, whoa, where did the time go? Okay. So really, you've had that experience, right? So we know there's enough. We just get into our humanness in our heads and everything, and we forget that there's enough. All right, so let's talk about practicing this commitment. So how do we get grounded in there is enough, or I have enough of everything? So something like meditation, right? It says do the sufficiency meditation, which is in the book, each morning on one scarcity thought. And it's basically, in this moment, do I have enough? Right? So if you're doing I'm not well, like physically, then you do a meditation on being completely present in this moment, knowing you have enough health because you're breathing, your heart's pumping, your arms can move, your eyes can blink, all that kind of stuff, right? Challenge beliefs. It says identify your beliefs about scarcity. Apply the 4 questions from Byron Katie's The Work at thework.com, which is discussed further in Commitment 10, and we already discussed that. So check to see whether the scarcity thoughts are true or not. And do breath work. Experiment with the physical contrast between scarcity and sufficiency. Hold your breath for as long as you can. Experience not having enough breath, then breathe shallowly, almost as though you are panting like a dog. And hold on, I can't see it on that side. I have not a light. Notice the difference between no breath and some breath. And notice if there is a feeling of scarcity or not enough, then take deep belly breaths and let yourself slow down your inhale and your exhale and be aware of the experience of fullness. So reflect on whether you are staying present in each moment of the breath work and anticipating a future moment. So focusing on the breath and really getting present with the breath is a phenomenal meditation, because if you're not breathing, you're not alive, right? So it's kind of important to breathe. But many people breathe like, right? Say, take a deep breath. No, take a deep breath. And it's all the belly. You can't see, but it's all the belly that fills up in a good deep breath, right? And then it says, oh, I have to sneeze or something. I have a tickle nose. So notice space. Move through a crowded space and focus on the obstacles. This works particularly well in a busy place. Approach, let's say you're in a mall or something like that. So be in a hurry, but avoid people. Notice your thoughts and your experiences, then shift to placing all your intention on the gaps between the people. I was in this one workshop once where we had to go outside. Oh, I didn't turn my bell off on my phone. Sorry about that. When we had to go outside, and we looked at the trees, and we were staring at the trees, and then 20 minutes later, he just like, noticed everything about the trees, blah, 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 blah. So we noticed everything about the trees. And then he's like, okay, so what do you notice? Oh, we talked about the color, da, 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 da. And then he says, do you know you couldn't see that without the space in between it? And I went, oh my God, earth shattering, like boom, mic drop, right? I wouldn't notice how beautiful the tree was if there weren't spaces between the leaves, because it would just be a big old blob, right? So it's phenomenal really looking at the space. And this is what, if you do meditations with Dr. Joe, and if you're in Edmonton, come tonight, because we have a walking meditation at the center, and it's a guided meditation with Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's spectacular. You want to get present, you want to meditate. Oh, it's phenomenal. So come, we do it at 7. But really, that's what he does too, noticing the space in everything that is, that makes everything what it is. It's the space between the leaves that makes the tree beautiful, okay? And then the next one says, in a nutshell, right? I know, Jessica, right? It's fascinating. So now you look outside, right? And you go, look at all that space, which means we have an abundance of a lot of things, right? Okay, so here's the chapter summary. Having enough of everything. Conscious leaders experience their lives as having enough of everything: time, money, love, energy, space, and resources. The scarcity belief that there is not enough causes leaders to focus on making sure they get theirs, and that's not a good place to be. The myths that feed scarcity are that there is never enough, more is better, and it will always be this way. Not true. Conscious leaders notice this focus on the toxic myth of insufficiency and shift from a mentality of scarcity to one of sufficiency. And to unwind scarcity, conscious leaders notice their reference point and check in with themselves. Conscious leaders practice checking in with the experience in the present moment. And those committed to conscious leadership, the belief and experience of sufficiency creates a profound shift in their relationships with others, work, and life. Here's the thing. If you're walking around every day and you're thinking, I don't have enough, then you can't connect with other people. Well, here's the thing. You can connect with other people who say, I don't have enough, right? And then they have that same, consciousness, and those aren't the people that you want to hang around with, right? So when you start understanding that there is more than enough, that you have an abundance of everything, time, money, everything. And if you're uncertain, there's all kinds of meditations on YouTube or Spotify that help you visualize more than enough. So there's no excuse to just be living day by day in a scarcity mentality and waiting for that yes to make your next decision. It may never happen. Create the yes, right? Create all the things that you want. I want to go to Mexico, okay? I'm cold already. I'm cold. I was out, if you saw my picture yesterday, I went out in my garden and pulled the rest of my carrots and everything in my winter coat, okay? It's cold. It's 1 degree here today. And that's freaking cold. We're almost at zero people. That's crazy. And it's going to go into the minuses this weekend. Anyhow, so I want to go to Mexico. So I'm figuring out how to do it. So I'm renting a bigger house with rooms, and people can come and stay with me. Reach out if you want to come and stay. That's about having abundance and enough. Have an amazing day.